1992, I was attacked by a wolf I had raised and loved. His name was Jake, a wild-born wolf seized by Colorado Parks and Wildlife when they intercepted an illegal release plan. The rest of the wolves went back to British Columbia, but Jake had spent too much time close to people. He couldn't be returned to the wild, so they gave him to me. I'm Oliver Starr, the founder and executive director of the Tahoe Wolf Center, and I've spent the last 35 years living and working with wolves. Jake was my first wild wolf. We had a rare bond. He rode in the truck, walked on a leash. He even came when I called, sometimes. We spent thousands of hours together. I thought our trust was unbreakable until one frigid afternoon when I lost it all. But what hurt worse than the injuries was the realization that frustrated, angry, and aggressive, I'd become the wrong wolf. The truth is, I was always that guy, the stereotypical alpha, a relentless competitor, obsessed with being right and winning at any cost. I believed in the saying, let them hate so long as they fear. I was quick to anger, slow to forgive, convinced I had to control everything. Exactly the wrong kind of leader for wolves and people. Can any of you relate? This is the story of how I failed as a leader and what wolves can teach us about getting it right. We were deep in the Colorado backcountry, me, Jake, his mate Jessa, and my girlfriend Leah taking photos of the wolves for a wildlife magazine. The sun was low, the temperature dropped fast. We were tired and cold. Jake was leashed, Jessa was loose, scampering about playfully, refusing to be caught. I worried she'd run ahead to a small mountain highway. I was impatient, annoyed. Jessa thought it was a game, but I wasn't playing. As she darted past again, I pounced. Jessa squealed as I grabbed her roughly by the scruff. That's when Jake attacked. He thought I was hurting his mate. The onslaught was so sudden and savage, I barely knew what happened. Then the pain exploded like being struck by lightning. I left my body. Part of me fought the wolf, a life or death contest I knew I was losing. Another hovered above, a drone's eye view of an epic battle, and a third, strangely, narrated. Calm, cool, and dispassionate, like a scientist. He's much stronger than you expected, isn't he? Leah was screaming, what do I do? The scientist answered, grab him by the balls. She did, and Jake let go. Bleeding, freezing, my arms and hands mangled, I somehow staggered the 2 miles back to the truck. In the ER, I remembered hearing one word, amputation. Your arm, the doctor said, illuminating the x-ray, is completely crushed. We don't even know which bones go where. I begged them for another way. They shot me up with morphine and sent me to another hospital hours down the road, the one place that could possibly save my arm. In shock, fading in and out of consciousness during that endless ride, one thought haunted me. My work with wolves was over. These were life-changing, career-ending injuries, save for the work of extraordinary surgeons. 37 fractures, every finger broken, a shredded bicep, more rods and pins than an engine to put things back together. But the most devastating injury wasn't physical. It was a realization that I was the wrong wolf. I'd lost my composure, let anger lead, and destroyed a relationship that had taken years to build. I failed Jake. He never trusted me again. I failed myself. I failed as a leader. I felt ashamed and knew something had to change. Have you ever become the wrong version of yourself? Snapping when you meant to listen or pushing when you meant to lead? That was the beginning of my journey. I made a vow, no matter the stress, no matter the challenge, I would never again let anger lead. I would never again be the wrong wolf. Since then, I've spent decades studying wolves, not the ones in the movies or the stories from our past. I've also studied leadership, psychology, and behavioral ecology. Today, I live and work alongside a pack of ambassador wolves. I raise them, I learn from them. I stealthily sneak my groceries past their quick teeth and giant paws. Sometimes I even make it to the front door with most of my dinner. And I lead people too, volunteers, conservationists, fellow executives. But now I lead the way wolves truly lead. You've heard the term alpha wolf, seen the meme, listened to the podcast, perhaps felt pressure to control, dominate, and project power. But here's the truth. The alpha wolf isn't real. The concept originated from outdated studies of captive wolves, unrelated individuals forced together. Of course they fought. Of course the biggest and most aggressive rose to the top. But that's not leadership. It's survival. And we see the same toxic model everywhere, from boardrooms to locker rooms. It doesn't inspire, it intimidates. In the wild, wolf packs are families. The alphas, the real leaders, are parents. They lead not through fear, but through care. Not through domination, but through altruism. Let me show you. A father wolf senses danger, a grizzly with cubs, but he doesn't panic. He moves with purpose. He initiates play to capture his pup's attention, then signals he's about to regurgitate food. With his offspring gathered, he calmly moves them to safety. That's elite leadership. Now, let me introduce you to two wolves with very different leadership stories. Wolf 40 once ruled Yellowstone's Druid Peak pack with an iron paw. She was ruthless, aggressive, feared. She attacked her sisters and killed pups that weren't hers. Even her mate, Yellowstone's legendary Wolf 21, couldn't contain her violence. Eventually, her pack had enough. They killed her. Not rivals, her own family. To paraphrase biologist Rick McIntyre, Wolf 40's reign came to an end, not from weakness, but because her aggression provoked a rebellion. After her death, leadership passed to her sister, Wolf 42. 42 was gentle, playful. She shared food, tolerated mischief, encouraged cooperation. She even adopted her dead sister's pups and raised them as her own. With her by his side, Wolf 21's leadership blossomed. He became known for restraint, a rarity in the animal kingdom. He never lost a fight, but he never started one, and he never killed a vanquished rival, though he could have. Together, 21 and 42 raised one of Yellowstone's largest and most resilient wolf families. That's benevolent alpha leadership, and I see it modeled in my own pack every day. This is Icknick. He's enormous, capable of asserting total dominance, but he doesn't use it. He defers to our ancient matriarch, treating her gently, as if he understands her age and frailty. And when pups Sonny and Mooney torment him, gnawing his tail, pawing his face, even trying to steal his bone, he responds not with punishment, but with play. And when the pups stray too far, he gently shepherds them back to safety. Even from these short clips, you can see his good nature. That's the kind of leadership I try to practice now with wolves, with people, with myself. Lead with calm. Lead with trust. Lead with patience. Lead by example, but above all, lead with kindness. Wolf biologist Gordon Haber once said, "The real leaders in wolf society lead by example and through care, not force." And Dr. Kira Cassidy's work in Yellowstone confirms it. Wolf families with older, calm mediators, not dominant aggressors, live longer, fight less, and thrive more. The same is true for families, for teams, for nations. So let me ask you, have you ever worked for an alpha, someone who led through fear? Did it make you better or just quieter? Now, think of someone who led like a benevolent alpha, someone who made you feel safe, trusted, inspired. That's the kind of leaders we must strive to be. My wolves and my teams follow me, not because they have to, but because they trust me. They know I see them and give them space to be their best. Have you ever been the wrong wolf? What happened when you were? Here's a better way. In your next difficult meeting, when your child melts down, when someone cuts you off in traffic, in that moment, when frustration, anger, or impatience tries to take the wheel, don't be the wrong wolf. Lead with calm, with trust, with kindness. Lead the way the world needs you to. Because when we stop being the wrong wolf, we stop leading the wrong way and become the kind of leaders the world actually needs.